Sacramento area governments are pushing what they are calling tiny homes, tiny home villages, sleeping cabin communities, and other cute names that they are using for metal sheds that they are wanting to use to store the region's homeless, like one would store stuff in a shed. The government has spent a minimum of $50 million so far on locations for the sheds themselves, and some security for the sheds just on two spots. This is for 240 people to sleep in sheds. That 240 number drops precipitously if one doesn't assume groups of people will be sharing a metal shed. The tiny home village, which is really just 100 sheds that has been set up on Florin Road, hasn't been plumbed yet and has nobody sleeping after nearly a year. In that year, $500,000 has been spent on security and more on multiple fences to keep the sheds secure, keep those suffering from homelessness from using the sheds that sit there locked and vacant. These are not tiny homes, cabins, or tiny home villages. These are collections of metal sheds. In this picture, you can see the one on the right is a metal shed. The one on the left looks like a tiny home. That's in a Home Depot parking lot. This is the one on the left is something that if it were plumbed and had all the services you needed, it had a fridge and a kitchen and obviously the toilet and shower, you would pay good money as an Airbnb to stay at. The one on the right is something that you could probably store a lawnmower in. These are not tiny homes, cabins, or tiny home villages. These are collections of metal sheds. Calling the thing on the right a tiny home is a lie. It is propaganda. It is a government that is pandering to voters to make it appear as if they are doing something, anything, when in reality they are doing something worse than nothing. They are actively wasting tens of millions of dollars to store sheds and eventually store, like unwanted Christmas decorations, the region's homeless, those that are suffering. There is no realistic plan to include necessary services that homeless people need to get out of homelessness on location, or any plan to get those that they are going to be storing in the sheds to the services that are spread throughout the county. If one puts more than 30 seconds of thought into this, they will realize that storing and not helping those that are suffering from homelessness is an act of evil. Calling it anything less is propaganda. This is the quote unquote tiny home village that has been on Florin and Power Inn sitting vacant with $500,000 poured into security over the last year. As you can see, these sheds are small. There's a few of them that are a little larger that are probably for people with disabilities that need a little more space to move around in, because you're not going to be able to fit a wheelchair in something like this and actually turn anywhere. This is the inside to one of those sheds. That is a place where you might be able to put a cot, not a bed. That is a place where you might be able to fit another cot, not another bed. Like they plan on sleeping two people in this, which just is not realistic. You would not be able to fit anything but the two cots. You might be able to store an article or two of clothing. You obviously could not fit a toilet or a shower in here, which is something that's necessary for something to be an actual tiny home, is you have to have somewhere where you can make food, go to the bathroom, and clean yourself. This is not that. To be fair, where they're storing these tiny homes, they eventually plan on delivering 2 bathroom trailers and a laundry trailer. So there will be somewhere to go to the bathroom if you feel like getting up and walking 100 yards in the middle of the night. This, however, is a model that could be used as a tiny home that is on the Tough Shed lot in Sacramento. That area right there could be used as a kitchen. You could have a sink, a stovetop, and underneath food storage or a refrigerator. Over here, you could easily put a small shower bath toilet unit like you'd see in a train, which is just like a 3x3 or 3x5 area that has the toilet and the shower in one spot. And then a ladder or staircase going up. Then up here would be storage and space for an actual bed, not a cot. Calling the metal shed on the right a tiny home is obviously a lie and propaganda, and the county should not have been wasting $50 million on something like this that at max capacity could only store a couple hundred homeless and not actually help them get out of homelessness. What we are doing is wrong, and we should be offering services and bed space to all the homeless in the county, not a bed in a shed to a few hundred. It's disgusting.